Happy holidays, everybody. We're bringing you your big update this month.
It's Tucker and Anthony with Land Title, and what we have for you here is we're looking at November of 2024. So what we'll notice here is coming off the top year over year. Let's look at some of those year over year and year to date numbers because they're pretty positive, right? We're looking year over year. What's active? We're still up compared to last year, right? So we have more inventory than last year. We're up 15% right now in November compared to last year. That's a great sign.
Yeah, the under contract numbers, right?
The under contracts. And then for our sold, we're up 4.73. Another really good number for month over month. Mm-hmm. And really, this is something that we kind of noticed back in September when we had that rate drop. That really carried through all the way through November, really helping stimulate the market.
Yeah, we've had a great plateauing fourth quarter. The one thing that's really negative here that you can kind of use some of this positive information to help out with is average sales prices have dipped down just a little bit if you look at them combined. Now, if we look at them separate, you can see it here. The detached market is down only like 1% across Boulder County, which fine, it's pretty flat, right? But the attached market has been substantially worse than that. You can see year to date, it's down about 5.5% over the last month, November over November. But the thing here, we've got a lot of inventory on the market right now in both markets. And honestly, it's dwindling fast, right? I mean, you can see some coming off the market just as like expireds, but you can also really see a lot of the market starting to, actually go under contract because with that boost in buyer behavior, I mean, that's what it takes, right?
Yeah.
So when you see 20% increase or so every month right now in under contracts, that's 20% off the bottom, right? So I think that's going to carry over into next year pretty well as interest rates just kind of slowly trickle down.
Yeah. And of course, you guys out there on the lender side know how reactive rates are, but something that we're hearing on the attached market that could also be really helpful out there. And this is more on, hey, those condo questionnaires and those warrantable and non-warrantables. Knowing what's warrantable and what's not and getting those condo questionnaires out with listing agents could be a really good, connector. Because I've heard that from several listing agents going, is this condo even warrantable anymore? I don't know.
Well, and I think that's something we really got to look at. So when you're doing stuff with condos, just really reach out to us early. Let's get a lot of information. I mean, between you and us, definitely we can find out whether or not these are going to close because wait until the end. I mean, we see it a lot where people have extended deadlines and everything, but truly, like, it's almost worth looking at all that stuff before they get an inspection. At this point.
I think honestly, if even getting that pre-listing, so if you have clients who do a lot on the buy-sell side, not a bad idea to kind of offer that service for the condo questionnaire because I know it's a huge hurdle that I've been hearing from agents. So,
all right, so look at
back
inventory.
To you guys, back to data.
Yeah. So if you look at Boulder, we got 213 condos on the market right now, or condo townhouses. That's a really high number, way more than we're used to seeing. Longmont's at 90, which is still a big number for an attached product.
Yeah.
If you look more at the detached markets, you can start to see some of those inventory levels over the last couple of months or over last month really trickling down 20-25%. A lot of that's just coming off the market. It's very seasonal, normal behavior, so you don't have too much to worry about there.
And there are a lot of folks that will be relisting again in the springtime as
there
well.
are a lot that won't, right? But so we kind of went a couple of ways. Some people rent stuff out. They wait a year. Some people don't. If you look at it in month supply of inventory, we're down to 3 months of inventory. This is going to feel a lot more like a balanced market than we've been used to. It's felt really buyer favored for a little while, but the key is really push your buyers into getting in here early because that number is going to continue to dwindle for at least a few months, right? Yeah. Every year, if you look at this seasonally, you can see January and February being some of the lowest of the year all together. And being in a transitioning market, we're really going to start to feel that inventory kind of dwindle away.
And so this is the first year that we didn't have inventory issues in a long time.
Totally.
And we're going to be trending back towards tighter inventory going forward again.
Yeah, by 26, we're going to have inventory issues again. It's just the fact of the matter. We don't build enough homes. We have a lot of people that live in Colorado.
And I mean, they are building more attached, but those are all, income restricted of, 80%, which is still really high here in Boulder County. But a lot of those new condos, townhouses, either student rental or are, permanently for rental, not for sale.
All right, so let's get back to the data here so we can get to you guys today. We're going to get to this. But if you look at the days in MLS, 51, we're really in line with the rest of the country, right? 55 was the nationwide average. So things are moving. They're not moving quite as fast. If you look across all the markets, Erie's been really slow, 91 days. There's a lot of inventory out there. Superior, same thing, really slow, 71 days. There's less buyers in Superior, right? Yeah. So those are very different problems.
And we can even see the areas like Louisville, which is generally had the tightest supply of any of the submarkets in Boulder County.
Still does.
They're still there because they're still so capped on that inventory and just the size. But even them at 38 days is much higher than it was even a year ago.
Exactly. There's a lot of new build stuff sitting on the market.
It's up 50% from a year ago.
If you ever have those clients that are like, I've always wanted to live in Louisville, they need to do it now.
Yeah.
This is the time.
Because there's bizarre, the new build stuff is also offering great concessions. So help you guys out.
Exactly. All right. So let's look by price range. I think this is a really important one.
So let's start at the top, right? Let's start in our luxury market. We had 10 sold in the 3+ million market in Boulder County. That's an awesome month.
It's a killer month.
That's wild. That's huge. And what we're also seeing is the really good sign is we're starting to chip away at that 3+ million inventory because that inventory has been so out of line.
150 plus units, right?
Yeah.
So now that we're at 96, even though a lot of it's come off the market, some of it's selling every month, right? And so if you've got buyers up in those marketplaces, I just think reiterate to them, look, there's a lot of choices. A lot of people are just asking like, man, if we could just get an offer, maybe I could talk my clients into something. So don't be afraid to get out there and make offers. I think that's really key in luxury, right?
Yeah.
When you got a lot of inventory, get out there, start negotiating.
Yeah. And then as we kind of work down from the top, once again, hey, that, 2 to 3 million range, doing better than it was, but it's still not moving as fast as other price points a little bit lower. And those are just functions of cost, right? There's a lot of inventory in those areas, not a ton coming off. Even up to 1.5 plus, we just have still a surplus of inventory in those areas.
It's wild though. Look at our year-to-date sales from 1.5 to 2 million. We've got 26% increase there. That's the biggest part of the entire market where we've seen a change. And that's largely due to cost of money, right? So as money started to come down, we've seen that boost back up, and there's a lot of people getting stuff sold there. Now, we're also seeing a huge part increase in our 500,000 to 600,000 range, right? And that is largely due to that's a part of the market where most of our median people would end up in, right? They used to end up in 800, they used to end up in 900, 700. Well, that cost of money has really pushed them down, and that's stretching their limits to what they're comfortable with.
Yeah. So as you go further down, those price bands as a lender, obviously your competition is going to go up.
All right, so look at this one, MLS or month supply of inventory and days on market by price.
This is really interesting. So this is something that I thought was going to be a little bit more skewed because of the cost of money. You can really see how it's really under that $2 million mark. It's fairly balanced across the board.
Yeah, that's
between
under 3
buyers
months of inventory.
Yeah,
right?
Under 3 months of inventory, a little bit more balanced. Whereas when we get into those higher price points, once again, those are out of line, but they're getting more in line to be balanced.
It's not 18 months, right? 12 months is better than 18 months.
Yeah, and that shifted pretty quick. It was 18 months only 2 months ago. So it is shifting the positive direction for more balanced market. Of course, on the lending side, it's still fairly competitive for the turnkey properties, but there's still a lot of good value out there for your clients. And then we're looking at our days on market. Anthony, you want to cover this a little bit?
Yeah, so this one's kind of all over the board, but you can really see the bulk of the market that people like your median buyers would be in. They're still feeling 40 days, right? It's still fairly competitive. The median's still in like the high 20s and 30s I was looking at the other day. So it's moving fairly slow still. You can really get out and be a little more choosy. But then if you're above 800,000, let's just call it to even 2 million, they have a lot of leeway, right? There's a lot of bandwidth. There's not a lot of buyers there. It's a very small amount of buyer pool. So you can really kind of choose what you want. If you get into the higher price points, the craziest part about that 2.5+ million market is really nice new homes that come on the market that are dialed are going fast and everything else is sitting. But not that they're not selling, they're just taking a long time to get there. So you'll have a house that sells in 6 days and you'll have a house that sells in 306 days, right? Like it's just all over the board. So you can really see that there. Let's dial into a couple of more. I'm going to skip this section on solds. I think I like a different slide a little better, but let's talk about average sales price because this is very important right now. Everybody's going to be like, oh my God, the sky's falling because it's a negative number and we're in Boulder. We shouldn't be seeing that. Well, it's just part of the deal, right? You see 40% appreciation in 2 years. Things are bound to settle a little bit if money goes up 4% in cost. So here we are where we're in a flattening market. You've kind of seen this over the last few years where it's just stable, right? And it bounces up and down a little bit depending on what gets sold every month. But year over year, we're at 1.4% over the last 4 months. It's all over. But like if you look at it by submarkets, Boulder basically down about 3%. It's the worst number we've seen.
It's the cost of money.
Cost of money, right? And we are selling different stuff.
And it's also our composition. That's
composition
a big piece
of sales
too.
is big.
But then we look across the market and we have our Louisville, Lafayette, Superior, all up, 5, 8%, respectively, almost 9% for Superior.
Because people end up buying out there instead of in the city of Boulder right now. So lots of sales taking place, even though it doesn't feel like a lot in a really tight market. This is actually substantially more than you'd expect.
Yeah.
Now, attached is the hard one.
This is where we're going to see a little bit more pain and suffering, right? The numbers that we're seeing here are pretty much all the submarkets except for Lafayette are suffering, and Lafayette has only 1.8% appreciation.
Well, and they just have a lot of condo townhouses that are newer, so they're not being affected by all the same stuff that everybody else is, right? So when you're worried about condos and their HOAs skyrocketing, a brand new townhouse in Lafayette just isn't going to feel that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, the HOA master plans are not up three times what they used to be. So, I mean, the insurance companies like that product, right? Mm-hmm. It's an insurable product. Good. So it just makes a big difference. And I think you're seeing that in the market. Plus, if you can't afford a single family home because money's expensive, where do you end up moving? Well, you move out and you move into attached housing. We don't build enough condos, so those didn't happen. Those townhouses in Erie and Lafayette, those are really big products. Look at Longmont's flat. Same thing happened there.
Yeah.
Attached product in those markets have done way better than everywhere else.
And then this right here is the easiest slide. If you're just going to show folks kind of what's going on for detached, this just shows where the sales compared to last year. And you can really see we had a great start to the year up till June. June fell off. July fell off. August started bouncing out. And then September is when those rates dropped. And we started seeing those sales really pick up September, October, November.
Yeah, look at our November sales. They were almost the same as September.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And I think this is just a good sign to show how reactive the market is to your rates. So as your rates change, even slightly, how quickly the market is, or elastic, if anyone's an economist, it's a very elastic relationship between, the rates and how we see our sold data coming through. So, I mean, you guys know this. This is what everyone talks to you all day about. But here's the evidence of how directly attached it is.
13.5% last month in sold units up.
Awesome.
We saw all those under contracts again, so you're going to see December numbers looking really good. The attached market, like we've been talking, it's just struggling, right?
Yeah.
But it's not nothing. I mean, we still have a lot of sales. Look at the city of Boulder. The city of Boulder has all this extra inventory, all this other stuff going on, but they still had 505 sales, only 16 sales less than this time last year. So the sales are taking place, but it's downward pressure in that market. So you kind of got a tale of two markets here. I shouldn't say kind of. You really have a tale of two markets here. And that being said, it kind of is what it is. So.
It is what it is. But I mean, for your folks who are looking to get in right now, this is a great opportunity in the attached market.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us today. I mean, this is the last one we really want to talk about. I don't think the other ones are as valuable to you. So this kind of wraps up what we wanted to see for the end of the year. We're going to do a big economic update in January, so don't forget to check that out. If you need any stats or anything from us, obviously we're always here for you. So we're always here to help, kind of get through some of the tough stuff with your clients.
Thanks everyone for a great year. We wish you a wonderful holiday season and even better 2025. Take care, y'all.
Bye.